Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Tanks World Podcast, where we talk random jargon, mostly movies, and on occasion I'll speak wrestling. But today we are talking about Christmas Vacation, and
Wait, who's this we you keep referring to?
this guy, he's we.
Oh, hi we. I
Fuck you.
think he's an asshole. You should probably replace him.
You're fired.
Sweet. See ya. I'm Protomet.
Yeah, Protomet is here again, and today we will be talking about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes, this is actually my first National Lampoon's movie.
He's not missing much, guys. You know, well, he's missing a lot, but we are technically starting this franchise ass backwards.
Yeah, starting from what for a while was the last one until they made a fourth one.
Yep. So in the mid future we'll be covering the first, second, then fourth because this is the third.
I suppose one could argue that we started on the last good one because I don't see anybody talking about Vegas Vacation ever.
It's good in its own right, but it's the weakest of the
But that's not what we're talking about today.
No. Well, we are talking about once again Christmas Vacation, and the movie pretty much starts off with the Griswold family driving.
No, it doesn't. It starts with a cartoon.
That's right.
It starts with a cartoon of Santa trying to deliver presents and just didn't.
Having the worst time ever. Like, everything is going wrong for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He gets electrocuted.
He has to escape through the sky roof, except that he misses and goes right through the regular roof.
Yep. Yep, going through the sky roof, just tries to get a hold of the sled, and he gets it barely. He grabs it, but barely. He falls off the roof.
All sorts of stuff happens,
Oh,
and then the movie ends. That was a good movie. We should, then the movie proper starts.
Yes, and it's Clark Griswold, and his wife. I can't think of her name right now, but they're singing like a Christmas song, and the kids are in the back seat just not having it. Like,
and you tell me that each of the movies, the kids are replaced with different actors, correct?
yes,
Okay. In this one, we've got that kid who went on to star in Big Bang Theory and some other girl.
The one that plays Leonard.
I recognize the girl from something, but I can't remember what.
Yeah, she's quite young in this movie.
Yeah, but I definitely recognize her for some of her later roles.
Yeah.
I just wish I could remember
I think
what they are.
I think she was in Taxi. Or Taxi Driver or something. I could be mistaken.
Now, another movie I've never seen.
Oh, hush.
I don't even think that picked up.
Hopefully. So, pretty much, yeah, they're going to get the Griswold family Christmas tree. And they're walking through. Well, no, before they even get that, they're being tailgated literally by what Clark calls rednecks.
He lets them pass, but he does so begrudgingly.
Yes, like.
And he lets them know.
Oh, yeah.
Which does not go over well with the truckers.
Well, definitely. Hey, he tells the wife and the kids, hey, look, a deer. And he just gives them the bird.
While they're looking away.
Yep. And then they end up, like, the truckers drive past them, and all of a sudden Clark just speeds up, and then they brake, so they have to brake, so they don't rear end each other.
Right.
And then they find themselves under a semi-trailer. He's like, And in the process, I believe the trailer, um, like turning, they finally get loose from um, the the trailer, and they end up at the Christmas tree place.
And they spot that perfect Christmas tree.
They don't have a saw.
I love the fact that Clark is just gazing in awe at this beautiful tree that he knows is the perfect one. And his family comes up and they see it too. And then the son's like, "You did remember to bring a saw, right, Dad?"
They get the tree out after digging it up from its roots. Then they get back to the house.
And we are introduced to their next door neighbors, who are a bit of a yuppie cuppy.
Yes, they are definitely
yuppie couple.
Hey,
Yuppie cuppy.
I knew what you meant. Yes, yes, they are. I believe they would be, if it was this generation, they would be hipsters.
Oh, they were definitely hipsters.
Mm-hmm. And
the thing is, they're played off as being like these assholes, but they don't really do anything to warrant being considered assholes in this movie.
No, not at all.
Like
they're just unlucky that they live next to the Griswolds.
Yeah, there's like only one scene where there's actually an interaction between this couple and the Griswolds, and it's immediately after they get the tree home.
Yep, and
for the rest of the movie, they just are unfortunate to be next door because a lot of shit ends up happening to them through no fault of their own.
No. There is a scene where Clark is putting up the Christmas lights, and he falls off the ladder, so he's hanging onto the
drain?
Yeah, like the gutter. And it bends and it breaks, and a piece of ice comes sliding out
and flies through their window and destroys their sound system.
Yep. And they're wondering what. They're so confused. Well, something had to break it, and why is the floor wet?
And then they put two and two together. It's like, and they don't do anything to retaliate because
Clark is crazy.
Clark is crazy, but
well, that's not at this point, but you know,
but that's just like the first bit of misfortune that they encounter.
Yes,
simply by living next to the Griswolds.
Exactly.
I kind of feel bad for this couple throughout this movie because
it's not right.
Like I realize that the intent is to kind of make them come across as kind of pretentious assholes.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything to actually deserve anything that ends up happening to them.
I'm gonna grab some waters.
Okay. And I will struggle to remember just what happens in this movie.
I'll be right back.
So yeah, they Griswold Clark manages to pare down his tree so that he can get it inside, and I think he decorates it.
Okay, so here.
I'll admit I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the early parts of this movie, so.
Well, Cousin Eddie hasn't showed up yet, and we know about Cousin Eddie.
I'll admit, at this point in the movie, it wasn't really holding on to my attention.
Mm-hmm. So they got the tree to the house and
pares it down, and they get it inside.
Mm-hmm. And Clark gets covered in sap.
Oh yeah, sap.
Yep. And
he's like sticky.
Yeah,
his fingers are sticky when they're in bed.
And they're just like
at night.
He's trying to.
He's trying to leaf through a magazine and keeps getting stuck on the pages.
Yeah, there's a. Then all of a sudden his hand gets stuck with a lamp, and
also gets stuck on his wife's hair.
Yep. Helen, that's her name. The wife's name is Helen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Helen, Russ, and Audrey.
Okay.
And Clark.
Yes.
Then they get like the lights on and on the tree,
I think Helen is raises a concern about having both sets of their parents over for
like both sides of family over.
because the last time that happened, their mothers kept arguing with each other, which thankfully doesn't really happen in this movie outside of the outside of their introductions.
Yes, it's it's in actual real life, so there's some places where you just don't get along with the in-laws, and
Oh yeah, that's
and you just let it be, get it, eat the food and open the present and shut up.
Sorry, I'm tired. It's been a bit of a long day for me.
He ate a lot.
I'm always eating a lot. Did you not see the last few videos I've put out?
Yeah. So then it's the next morning, and I believe, yes, the in-laws finally show up.
I think we get a couple scenes of like Clark at work.
Oh yes, that's right.
I don't know if these are supposed to be occurring in at the point in the movie where they are at, because geez, at one point it reveals that it's like the 18th and Clark is still working, which is fine, but that also means that the in-laws are there. And why are the in-laws there so early? I mean, maybe it's just me, but our get-togethers usually only happen like within the days of there being Christmas.
Yeah.
Like even when people are coming in from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Again, maybe that's just me though.
That's the same with my family too. We all get together on the Christmas Eve or day.
Yeah, they're not. They're usually not showing up a week ahead of time.
No, it's just like.
But again, that's just my family. I don't know if it's the same for others.
Exactly. And honestly, when he's in the office, he's like, he wants to install a pool.
Yes, he reveals that he's kind of banking on the yearly bonus check from work to get a pool installed the next spring.
Mm-hmm.
And we also get introduced to his boss, who wants him to write up a report on this new crunch intensifier he came up with, but do so in such a way that lay people can understand it, not all his industry jargon.
Layman's terms.
And this boss is clearly checked out when it comes to actually interacting with his employees, because he, first off, doesn't even remember what Clark's name is.
He calls him Bill and Bill or something. And
he calls one of the employees by the wrong name.
Mm-hmm. Then they're going into the office, and
there's also one point in the same scene where Clark thanks his boss for the gift for the Christmas card, and the boss is completely perplexed as to what the hell he's talking about.
Yes, and
because clearly he had no input on anything being sent out to anybody.
It's like, all right. And then one of his lackeys is pretty much saying it's just like
explaining it to
card. It's a company card.
Oh.
Oh, okay. And then Clark is saying, Merry Christmas, fuck you, go to hell, fuck you, fuck him.
Because the boss is with a bunch of other people on their way to a meeting or
and
something.
Then all of a sudden, the last one is like, I guess the guy's Jewish, so he says Happy Hanukkah.
It's like, yeah, okay. But so that presents, this scene establishes one of the later plot points of the movie that ultimately becomes a big crux of, well, the whole redemption scene that there usually are in these kind of movies.
Oh yeah. So then the in-laws are at the house.
They arrive at the house. They arrive bickering.
Oh, of course.
Because of course they do.
It's like blah 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 blah.
But ultimately they manage to be civil during their entire time there.
Exactly. There's the scene where they're all in the house, and they're all saying, like, you know, grandparents are hugging the kids and like, you know, and stuff like pinching the cheeks, like, you know, all that jargon. And he's like, Clark goes, you know, I'm gonna go outside and get, you know, just for the season. The whole season, he doesn't want to go back inside. Then him and Rusty end up trying.
They work on getting this elaborate light display set up.
Yes.
Because for once, this is actually Clark's first time hosting Christmas at his house.
Yes.
And apparently the family has a lengthy history of pretty terrible Christmases. Really unfortunate ones.
Yes, it's...
And Clark's really just wanting this to be a perfect Christmas.
Yes,
So this movie is... the basic premise of this movie is that Clark wants to present a perfect Christmas gathering and just have the perfect Christmas, and everything is happening to fuck that up.
Oh, yes. What can go wrong does go wrong.
So they go set up the lights and all that. Mm-hmm. Clark accidentally staples himself to the side of the house.
So he's trying to, like, rip
the ladder isn't working properly.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But he does manage to get everything set up. And so he goes to plug in the lights and nothing. He had everybody come out to watch the big light up and nothing happens. And he spends the rest of the night, because by this point it's nighttime, he spends the rest of the night checking all the bulbs.
Yeah.
Which turns out to not be the problem, as we later learn.
No. So I believe he gives up for the night and then tries it again the next day. And the lights finally end up working, but then, like, when he tells the people to come out, they're off, and he's trying to...
As it turns out, there's like a light switch in the garage that is controlling the whole light situation.
Yes.
And nobody realizes it until the very last moment. So at one point, somebody goes into the kitchen or into the garage to get something from, like, a fridge or something that's in there. So they turn on the light switch. Everything lights up. Yeah. And this is the first time it's lit up, and Helen is the one to see it.
Yeah.
Because Clark is checking on some of the one of the outlet power strips. Mm-hmm. Trying to figure out what's going on. And she tries to tell Clark to get here to see the lights, and then whoever was in the garage shuts the light off before he can get back.
I think it was Clark's mom. Just like, oh. Then all of a sudden, Helen goes into the garage and does something, hits the switch, and Clark sees it all lit up.
So he tries to get everybody to come out to look, and then it goes out again.
Yeah, it's like, and he's just having, like, a hissy fit, you know, like he beats up the plastic Santa and reindeer, and then all of a sudden he comes running. He was about to connect the
and I think it's at about this point, Helen realizes the connection between the switch and the lights.
Yep.
And so she flips the switch just as he's plugging it in.
And all of a sudden, and the neighbors are being blinded.
Every time the lights are coming on, it's so intensely bright that the neighbors are being literally blinded and having to fumble around in the bright light trying to figure stuff out.
And all of a sudden we get a slight little scene from a power company hitting a switch so the town can stay lit up.
Because the Griswold light display is so intensive, it's literally draining power from the rest of the town.
So then, after this, I believe everyone's all happy, everyone's hugging and stuff like that, but his father-in-law, he finally gets to his father-in-law, and he tells Clark, the tiny little lights aren't sparkling.
It's like come on, seriously.
Just let me win this. And then all of a sudden, he walks past, and then Cousin Eddie randomly shows up.
Oh yeah, he showed up while everybody was marveling at the lights.
Yeah, it's just like...
Was he in a previous movie? Again, this is my first National Lampoon's movie, so...
The only one he is not in is European Vacation.
Okay. Because it felt like this was a scene that people who are familiar with the character would realize, oh, hey, it's him. And while I did know of him going into this movie, I did not know what other movies he's all been in.
Yeah, he's in Christmas, this movie, Vacation, and Vegas Vacation.
Yeah.
Much older.
Well, yeah, but...
So
yeah, Cousin Eddie has swung by with his family to spend Christmas, because originally they weren't going to, but they figured, let's surprise them.
Yep. And then the kids come running out, and the dog...
The slobbery, snotty dog.
Yep, just like...
Snot.
Snot.
It's the name of the dog.
Snot, you roll over so Clark can rub your belly. Boy, and all of a sudden he randomly starts talking about dog balls. And Helen kind of just did a little... Tried to take a peek. Okay, by the way, it's not just Clark that's strange. The Griswold family is strange in general.
Oh, I think even before this is we skipped over a fair bit of the movie. I'm not entirely convinced that this movie takes place in chronological order, but
I'm not quite sure either.
But it might be, which explains why we're definitely not telling it in chronological order, because
we tried.
There's like a scene earlier in the movie where Clark has picked up a present for his wife of lingerie.
Oh yes, that's...
Yes. While at the mall, he gets into a conversation with the lady selling him the laundry, and his son shows up.
Walks in right when he's staring at a nice, pretty-looking thigh. And she...
Also, Clark
is kind of a perv.
He totally lies to the saleswoman and claims that he's recently divorced, which is not true.
No. In this series of vacation films, there's always another girl that he kind of is...
Fancies.
Yeah, he kind of fancies. And it's just quite hilarious, because he does meet these fantasizing women that he...
Yes, but
I'll bring those up when we watch the other ones.
But anyway, he bought his wife laundry for Christmas. He goes up into the attic one morning to hide it, and ends up finding a Mother's Day present that he left up there for long enough that it was pretty dusty. Unfortunately, his mother-in-law decides, because of how much of a draft she's feeling, go out and investigate, and ends up closing the door to the attic, leaving Clark stuck up there without anybody having any idea that he's there.
Yes,
which is made even worse by the fact that the family has decided to spend that morning going out Christmas shopping.
And apparently Helen's father does not like Clark. Because he's like, well, I'm gonna go and just see what he's up to. No, I gotta eat. You know, he's got a car, he can drive himself.
So Clark gets stuck up in the attic in his pajamas.
Yes, and he ends up putting on a bunch of ladies' clothes,
which he finds in the trunk because it's cold up there.
Yes,
and this is after his attempt to try and get people's attention to, like, hey, I'm up here in the attic, come help me. I can't get the door open.
He ended up finding a projector.
He does end up like breaking through the ceiling of one of the
I believe below. It was Rusty's room.
It's whichever room has a bunk bed.
Yep.
Which, instead of realizing that that's a perfect opportunity to escape, because really it is, he just decides to stay up there and watch old Christmas home movies that he happened upon, which actually makes for a pretty good scene. It
Yeah, he's like,
helps to establish that this is the reason why he's going through all this trouble.
yeah,
Because he wants to have a good, fun Christmas with the family.
yeah.
So this is a good scene.
Yes.
It gets cut short when
Helen opens up the
attic
attic door
after getting home.
and trying to, yeah. It logically, the weight of him would have opened the door.
Yeah, but where's the funny in that?
Fair point. I can't find any flaw in your logic.
Sometimes when it comes to comedy,
Yeah.
you have to defy logic
Yeah.
for the funny to make sense.
Yeah, but it was, well, but just think about it, though. It's the Griswold's house. It could have malfunctioned any time.
Well, I'm not terribly familiar with the Griswold, so I can't speak on that. Again, this is my first National Lampoon movie.
Yep.
Let alone first vacation movie.
Yes.
So
he takes a tumble, and then I believe they're okay. Now they're all sleeping. Everyone's sleeping.
I think that was established earlier, but go on.
Yeah, they're all sleeping. Like one of the grandpas is reading like teen magazine as his wife is just snoring away.
They're in the daughter's bedroom.
Yep. And
the kids have to share a bed, which
yep. Oh, like
really irks the daughter, Audrey.
Rusty tries to like roll over, and it technically looked like he was trying to cuddle, but she's like, "Get off of me, you dork!"
Let's see. There's one. I think it's the father-in-law, or maybe it's
one of them.
It's either Clark's dad or Clark's dad-in-law, who's in Russ's room and just kind of trying to sleep despite having to stare up at a pretty poster on the ceiling.
Yep.
Because he's in Russ's room.
Yep. No, teenage boy, you know.
Yeah. I'm not saying.
It's alright. Water bottle.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, actually all that happened. Then, yeah, Clark got stuck in the attic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're going way out of order with this movie. There's also a scene where Clark goes to his boss's office to deliver a present, and his boss had just gotten off of a call when Clark shows up, and to try and get Clark to go away, he fakes being on an important call, and realizing that he's not actually on a call, picks up the phone and asks to be connected to somebody for a call. Like, it doesn't even matter who.
He's like, now give me somebody as I'm waiting. I don't know how that can work.
We also see like a whole display of other nearly identically shaped gifts.
Yep. So I'm guessing his boss just got a whole bunch of the same thing.
Kind of makes you wonder what it is he got, but
I don't know.
I think the whole idea is the visual gag of everybody deciding to give him the same gift.
Yes.
And him not caring enough to even open one of them.
Mm-hmm. Then, I believe they're going sledding.
Oh yes, Clark decides. This is after Eddie has shown up.
Yep.
So Clark is applying this like food lubricant that his company has been working on.
I'm just gonna call it Pam to the extreme.
Pam Plus.
Yep, just like,
he's applying it to the bottom of like a lid sled.
Mm-hmm. And he launches.
Well, even before that, Eddie tells Clark not to put any on his because he's got
a metal plate.
He used to have a metal plate in his head from an accident, but now he had to get it replaced with a plastic plate because because of stuff that was happening whenever his wife
Turned on the microwave.
Yeah.
I'd
So
get
now
my
he's
name
got-
for about 10 minutes, and then I'd piss myself.
So now he's got a plastic plate, which is not nearly as strong.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to get into a crash, and Clark makes note of that.
And then he,
Because it seems to be a running gag that that Clark doesn't like him.
oh,
Again, this is my first vacation movie, so I'm having to go.
Tolerates in the other movies. He tolerates Eddie. He doesn't go off and say he doesn't like him. Because Clark is still a nice guy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Just doesn't want to be.
It's just obvious that Clark would rather not have to deal with Eddie,
Yes.
but is putting up with it.
Mm-hmm. Because it's it's Helen's family, pretty much.
Okay, I didn't know the exact
Yes.
relation.
Mhm.
But say Clark goes on this sled and just shoots off and ultimately winds up at a Walmart.
Yep. And
Hits it, goes through a bunch of stuff, just rockets straight away from the sledding area, goes into the woods, goes all the way across, crashes through a cabin or something,
Yep.
makes it all the way to the Walmart parking lot and into Walmart proper.
And then it cuts to Eddie like bingo.
And so they can see where he wound up.
Yeah, it would have been funny if they just had him like staring looking.
Like it's literally like a blink, you don't miss it. I think I looked away and then he was gone, rocketing. I was like,
Yeah, I believe
wait.
you just looked at your computer for just a millisecond. Whoa!
So
And you saw like the little flame thing that is like what
the heck? I mean, everybody was expecting it to go fast. Not that fast.
Yep. Well, he put a lot on there.
I mean, it made the scene a lot funnier.
Oh yeah.
With how ridiculously fast he was going. But again, don't think about it too hard, otherwise the comedy doesn't work.
Yes. Then they're back at the house, and I believe Clark is daydreaming about his pool.
I think that's later. I do know that between the sledding scene and the light show, there's a scene where Clark and Eddie are just kind of talking to each other while having eggnog with these...
Marty Moose, that's me.
Clearly based on the character from the first movie.
Yes.
Which is Wally World.
Wally World, yep.
So...
Then, yeah, they're just talking, and Eddie just touches a spinning little top thing, and it just falls apart. He goes, huh. Like, he's like, eh. Then the dog Snot is drinking the tree water.
Which... Clark wants him to stop, but Eddie mistakes it as being, oh, it's just tree water. He'll be fine. And Clark's like, well, no, I don't want the tree to dry out.
Oh, yeah.
Which comes back later on.
Yep. So then they're... Wow.
We're so chronologically confused, we're not sure where to go next. Let's go to the shopping scene next.
Okay. So Clark... No, okay then. If we're going to do that, we have to talk about Clark having his daydream about the pool and then talking to...
That makes sense, yeah, go.
Okay. So, Clark is having a daydream of his swimming pool. Well, he's staring out the window where I guess the swimming pool is going to be.
Yep.
And then it's like the Hawaiian Christmas song starts playing. All of a sudden he sees all his family out there playing. And then all of a sudden you see...
They're all replaced by this one lady that he met at the lingerie store.
Yep, he's just like...
At least I'm pretty sure that's who that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he starts to... I would like to say Fast Times at Ridgemont Hyatt.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Minus the actual nudity.
Yeah.
We don't actually see anything.
She's slowly stripping, and you see decent side. I'm just saying.
Clark is getting real into his own fantasy.
And then
And
Peggy
then,
Sue, I believe her name is.
yeah, Eddie's daughter
Yeah.
shows up and kind of startles him.
He's
Which,
like, Santa? Oh. Knocks him out. It's like, close your robe. No. So he's trying to. There's a funny scene is in this particular scene. He's talking about this. He's like, and the little girl's saying, "We're good all the time, and it feels like we get the shaft every year." It's like
yeah, because she's at the age where she's seriously doubting the existence of Santa because they were good all of last year and they still got shafted in terms of presents simply because they're poor.
Yeah, that's pretty. The line is, she goes, Clark asked her, "Are you nervous?" I'm shitting bricks. You shouldn't use that language. So sorry.
Shitting stones.
Shitting rocks. And
but it's a nice scene
Yes.
where Clark is doing his level best to convince this little girl that yes, Santa exists.
yes.
Because she kind of needs that bit of magic.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm not saying that Eddie is a bad parent.
Oh God, no! I mean, he's clearly doing the best he can.
Oh yeah, him and his wife are trying their best. Then after that, they end up.
They're just not as fortunate as Clark and.
They end up. Clark ends up talking with Helen about we need to get some gifts for the kids, so Eddie and Clark go to the store and dog food bag after dog food bag after
for snot. I think in this scene, Clark lets Eddie know that he's gonna pick up some gifts for his kids.
He's like, "Well, you don't need to get nothing for me, Clark, but you know that's really kind of you. But I'm gonna get you something special." Kind of winks at him and just.
And that'll come back later.
Oh yeah. And they're at the store yet, and I believe they checked out, and now I believe it is just about Christmas Eve, maybe not Christmas Day yet.
I mean, we're getting very close to the actual Christmas. I think it's Christmas Eve at this point. We're getting more guests coming in the form of
their grandparents or something.
Great grandparents, yeah.
And
I think they're Helen's grandparents.
Yeah. So. Or no, they're probably aunt and uncles of some sort.
They're old people.
Yes, but the lady I found out is the original voice actress for Betty Boop. So
I recognize the old guy from something. I just can't recall what exactly.
Who knows? In this character,
I mean, we could probably look it up, but
I don't.
I definitely know I've seen him in other stuff, in at least one other thing. I just wish I could remember what, because it was clearly a prominent enough role that I remembered him. Yeah. But the whole gag is that the old lady is a little.
She's senile.
Yeah.
And.
As revealed when we learn that one of the presents she brought is her cat wrapped up in a box.
Yep.
The other gift is a Jello mold.
Yep. Eddie's like, this present's dripping. Helen touches it, and then Eddie kind of just licks it off her finger. Lemon. Yeah, just put it in the kitchen. And I believe they're getting ready to have the feast, and the turkey looks delicious.
Oh, it's an absolutely gorgeous looking turkey, and they have the old lady say grace before they start digging in.
Exactly,
and
she's like, "Oh, Grace died 18 years ago."
No, they're not saying the grace. It's wanting to say the grace, the blessing.
He's like, what?
The blessing!
The blessing!
Ow! So everybody bows their heads and folds cups their hands in prayer.
And then
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Eddie's the only one that stands up.
of the one nation under God for liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Amen. And then all of a sudden, Clark cuts the turkey and it
Falls apart.
It's
the whole rest of the thing
dry. It would be funny if it was like that episode of The Simpsons
Oh.
where the doggies came out of the...
I love the practical effect they use for this shot.
Just like they're trying their best to eat the turkey. It's just not like they're chewing really hard.
I just absolutely love the special effect work for that. Like, you can clearly tell that it was incredibly well done to make it look really nice, but then it just falls open as soon as the knife touches. It's just like...
Eddie's wife says, I knew we put it in too early.
But everybody's trying to get through it.
There's a scene where Helen has a fork of something and she just kind of chucks it aside.
But it's otherwise a pretty normal meal. I think Eddie is...
Eddie's the one eating the most.
But that's because he's kind of feeding the dog on top of actually eating.
He's like... The dog is hacking, and so he's like...
We don't actually see the dog during this whole thing, but it's making a ruckus under the table.
Yeah, it's like, he's just choking on a bone. Well, maybe he didn't feed it. No, he probably went through the trash. And all of a sudden, they go into the kitchen, and there's a bunch of garbage tipped over.
So Clark and Helen have to...
clean it up. And their great uncle of some sort tells him to get him a stogie.
Since they're not doing anything important, cleaning up the trash at the dog.
Yeah,
fine. Clark goes out.
Okay. Before you continue, like Helen just says, Clark condescendingly says, anything you want, cousin's, whatever his name is, and Helen goes, please be nice. We don't know if this is going to be his last Christmas or not. And Clark says, I'll make it his last Christmas.
Now, before Clark actually goes into the living room to grab the cigars for the uncle, the aunt's cat starts playing with the string of lights on the bulb and accidentally unplugs the thing.
Yep.
And so Clark goes into the living room and sees that the Christmas tree is no longer lit up. Mm-hmm. So he goes to check and sees it unplugged. So he plugs it back in, and then the cat explodes. The cat explodes in an electrical shock. We don't actually see it, but we do see the aftermath.
It's just like the outline of a cat. And Clark and Eddie are taking the chair out to get rid of it.
Which then reminds me that we forgot about another important scene from earlier in the movie where it's a minor gag, but Eddie is basically emptying his
sewage,
his RV's sewage tank.
Yep, into a
storm gutter, yep. Which Clark comments on the fact that that's illegal because if it builds up gas, it could be dangerous.
Yes,
it's not supposed to build up gas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, shitter's full.
Which is an iconic line.
Yep.
Just in general.
Yep. Shitter was full.
So that is important. I only bring it up because once the cat is dead, Clark and Eddie have to take that chair out to the dump, which is right by the storm drain. And they both comment on it smelling weird.
Yep, and they're like, well, that cat took like 300 volts or something.
I also like that how cousin Eddie is like, if you don't want this anymore, I can take it.
I'm like, I can take it. I can try to fumigate this thing.
It's like, okay, waste not, want not.
Yep. It's all right. It's just... Then they go back inside and... Now, I believe, the tree goes up.
Nope. Yes. Never mind.
All right.
The uncle finally gets his cigars. He goes to light up by the tree, and
boom, the tree goes up.
It's cinders, and Clark even has to actively attack his uncle to put the fire out that's on him.
He's like, this, and then after this, Clark snaps.
Oh yeah. So,
it doesn't. It's like it's not. He's slowly snapping.
Oh yeah.
He. So simple enough.
This is actually after. If I remember correctly, this is after another big moment. So a little bit before that, somebody knocks on the door.
It's the mailman.
It's the mailman. He forgot to deliver a letter the day before because it fell between the seats. And Clark sees that it's from his company.
Yep.
So he's like, oh, it's like, okay, everybody, I wanted to save this until yesterday, but we're getting a pool.
He's just like, everyone's all excited. Eddie says, there's a line. Eddie says, if you're not listening, you don't hear, I can't swim, Clark. It's okay, Eddie.
It's okay. Get in this, and this is the bonus check that'll help us to pay for it. So let's see what it is. He's excited. They finally get him to open it up, and he reads it. And
jelly, you have the yearly Jelly Clubbers.
Jelly of the Month Club.
Yep.
A yearly subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club, which is the payoff for him
working his ass off.
17 years.
Okay, I have to just say, by far, one of the best rants ever. He is freaking the family out. Eddie's like, I want someone to bring him here wearing a big bow. That's what I want for Christmas. So Eddie leaves.
Eddie's not too bright, so.
Yep. So he kidnaps his boss, but before he comes,
we get the whole tree going up.
Yep, the tree goes up in flames, and then
Clark goes out with the chainsaw.
He's like, and he goes, Helen's trying to tell, calm down. Russ goes, I'll go talk to him. He just kind of gives him a sinister look and just like, good talk.
So Clark goes over and cuts down the neighbor's tree, which smashes through their window.
And then she tells her husband to go over there and, okay, not quite yet.
Okay.
So we're there. He gets the tree up, the new tree up. The squirrel.
They get the tree inside, and Clark is decorating it with the burnt gifts.
And surprisingly, the lingerie didn't go up in flames.
Everything's calmed down a bit.
And then out of the aunt.
The aunt hears like a squeaking noise. And her husband is like, you're so old, how can you hear anything? But Clark's like, no, I hear it too.
All of a sudden he opens up the...
Yeah, it must have been nothing. It stopped.
All of a sudden...
Squirrel. Everybody is freaking the fuck out over a squirrel.
Yep. It's just funny. They're all kind of... Clark's mom faints and is just on the floor. They're all hiding behind the wall. And all of a sudden he goes, where the hell is Eddie? He eats these things. Then Eddie's wife goes, not so much anymore. Ever since we found out they had a lot of calories or cholesterol or something like that. Oh, good to know. Then Snot just chases them.
Clark manages to get both animals outside. And it's at this point that the neighbor's wife is fed up with all this shit, and she tells her husband, "You go out there and you talk to him." It's like,
you go right over there and you knock that door and punch that man in the face. I can't just punch somebody. You know what? I will then.
She goes out. Shit happens. She comes back in and decks her husband.
Yeah, just like, what happened to you? Just like, Crack!
Oh, Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep.
Better known as Ellen on Seinfeld.
Yep.
Not a show I've watched a whole lot, but I definitely recognize her from that.
Oh, yes. So, after that, Clark, Helen is asking Clark, you know, what, like, okay, at this point, I believe Helen's parents are ready to leave. And Clark's like, no, where the fuck are you think you're going? He's like, and he says like one of the, okay, they're upstairs and they have a loose thing on a like a banister of some sort, and he's like just well there's a line he does say, like, he was saying we needed a tree, but he said we needed a coffin. I mean, a tree.
Also, this is while he's washing his hands so that they're not sap sticky like they were the last time. So
you are losing your mind. What? We needed a tree. We needed a coffin.
We had a problem, and I solved the problem.
Mm-hmm. He is like literally. He can become. Why hasn't he ever been like a psycho in a movie? Besides this.
Well, I haven't seen all of his movies.
Neither have I. But he's more of a comedic actor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, just.
But he's
Male
doing
shark.
He's. What the?
Candygram. Gone.
That is a reference to an SNL sketch, if anybody was wondering.
Chevy Chase played the shark.
Yes. It was a parody of Jaws.
Yep.
It was like a parody sequel to Jaws before there was an actual sequel to Jaws.
All right, so now,
Clark is doing his level best to keep everybody from just leaving.
Mm-hmm. So he's grabbing some water from his Calico water thingy.
Water cooler.
Yeah, and his dad comes up and is telling him to pretty much calm down, and you know, Christmas is terrible. And Clark asked him like, "What? How did you get through all this?" I had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
It's a nice heart-to-heart between these two.
Yes, and he says this. He's like, "So, Dad, are you gonna read the night before Christmas or?"
It's like, no, it's your Christmas party.
He's like, "No, I'm retiring it." And they're all in the living room. Clark is reading it. It's a very nice, pretty scene. And then all of a sudden he adds some more line when he looks out the window and he sees Eddie bringing my boss in pajamas.
So Eddie went and kidnapped his boss.
Mm-hmm. Then when I believe he gets him into the house, we get a scene at the boss's house with his wife pretty much calling the police. This giant man.
But despite the fact that this shit has gone tits up,
mm-hmm.
Clark is honestly completely willing to take the blame for this whole situation, even though Eddie did this all on his own without really thinking it through because he's Eddie.
Yep. There's a small little line where the boss tells Clark you're fired, and then tells Eddie that he's going to jail, and Eddie just kind of goes like I think Eddie's been in jail. He then they're all explaining that about the bonus situation
and how the boss just kind of casually is like, yeah, we cut that. Yeah, we got rid of that.
Yeah, for this year.
Not realizing that maybe you should have told it.
Yes.
Clark is actually able to use this opportunity to kind of go off on his boss about how kind of cold-hearted he has been. To basically just cut off the bonus without telling anybody, especially not the employees who may be banking on this bonus.
They need the bonus to help.
They're counting on the bonus to help them get through the holiday season
Yes.
with their families and support their loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's during this conversation that the boss realizes that what sounds like a good on paper isn't necessarily the case in practice. And
exactly.
that he'd been so focused on the bottom line that
he offers Clark 20%.
20%, that's in addition to the actual bonus.
Yes.
Because he realized, wow, maybe I should actually appreciate my employees and not just...
And Clark faints. Gets back up, though, and...
But the police arrive.
Oh, yes. The police force, the SWAT force, wow.
They come in... They break into the next door neighbor's place.
I feel bad for them.
They did nothing objectively wrong.
Like, okay, if you want to get in here, you're going to have to break down the damn door.
So the police raid the place.
Yep. And they're, okay.
It got everybody at gunpoint.
It's like, freeze! And Helen has her hand on Clark's cock. Then, like, okay, but before that, before like, he tells everybody to freeze, the thing is, the police freeze. They're like, them, not you.
They bring the boss's wife in to,
It's like,
and the boss explains to her the whole situation that the whole thing was a misunderstanding and that he was really the one most at fault for it happening in the first place.
yes.
And he tells the wife, so you know that idea I was batting around about getting rid of bonuses, and she's like, you didn't go through with that, did you?
No, they're getting their bonuses. They're getting their bonuses. Oh, God. Crazy. And pretty much the charges are
completely dropped, and everybody has a fantastic remainder of the Christmas, and Clark goes out and he's standing there kind of just marveling at the whole, despite everything that's gone wrong, you couldn't have asked for a better Christmas, really, with how it all turned out.
Yep. And all of a sudden, they see like
oh shit, because the uncle goes to light up another stogie outside.
It's like, well, that's not Santa.
They see like what looks like a shooting star.
Yep. That's gas fumes from the stamping plant.
Which then leads Clark to realize,
Don't
oh
do
shit,
that.
the gas buildup. Don't light your stogie. Sends the destroyed Santa and his reindeer rocketing through the sky. Which probably was a nice scene for the kids.
Yeah. And then credits happen.
Clark's out there with Snot.
And he finally pets Snot.
It's like, you know...
He's like, you know what? Screw it. The doggo just wanted to get petted.
Ultimately, this is a nice Christmas movie.
Yes. It's not like maybe levels of, like, let's say, like classic stuff like The Grinch or... like, you know,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Frosty, etc. Christmas Story, but
that one might be a little overplayed. But
I have to agree with that.
I've never seen it in its entirety, so I can't really comment on.
You probably have, but just then clip and clip and clip.
You're not completely wrong. That may be the case. But I can definitely understand why people would come back to this movie year after year. This is a fine enough.
Yes.
I'll probably never see it again, but there aren't a whole lot of movies that I actively go out of my way to rewatch that aren't, you know, something that I'm reviewing.
Yeah.
So.
Tokusatsu related.
Yeah. Or like Scooby-Doo.
So, Sonic 2.
Yeah, that's a thing. I haven't actually seen the trailer, but
It just
I've been up for the idea ever since it got teased at the end of the previous one.
yeah,
'Cause
me
that,
too.
that was a damn good movie that surprised everybody. People could have. It could have been terrible,
Yes.
and it almost was borderline with that first Sonic design.
Oh God.
Glad the studio listened and was like, okay, we're drastically gonna change this.
Yep.
Clearly, we fucked up. We gotta.
Yep. I honestly, I don't think I would have liked it if they used that.
Oh God, no. It would have just been nightmare fuel.
So, whenever it comes to theaters, I'll talk to Jesse and maybe we'll go see it.
Yeah.
So, sorry for that little Sonic rant, but
It's fine.
and I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Tank.
Have a very Merry Christmas.
Yes, have a Merry Christmas, and till next year.
Bye, bye,
Bye, everybody.